Yeah, man. I'm back at it again. Um, the reason why we get sick because we are hard headed. We are sick because we're hard headed. And excuse me. Oh, sorry. Yeah. The reason why we get sick is because we don't follow right instructions. We don't. We don't do what the Most High tell us to do. Now, a lot of people gonna accuse me of following the Hebrew as what they call the Israelites. But first and foremost, before I go any further, I want to show you that Hebrew Israel, that word, that the Hebrew Israelites, that word is actually in the Bible. Let me go ahead and go right to it because I know I'm gonna be talked about, and I know I'm gonna be made fun of because people mistake me and they say that I'm part of a cult. There is. How can I be a cult when I'm actually working hard every day trying to do my research to find out? You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna call me a cult? You're gonna call me carried away by every wind of doctrine because I have a mindset that is just do research? You're gonna call me a cult, or you gonna say that I'm stupid, or I'm following the Hebrew Israelites because I look at a word. If I don't understand what a word means, I take and Google the word up, or I take and look up the word in a Webster's dictionary. You gonna call me a cult for wanting to find out what that means? You're telling me that. Why are you putting all that on? Why is it that people put these things on a person, accuse these people that do their research, these people that find out what things mean, these people that ask questions? But all of that put on me, right? You see what I'm saying? All of this is put on us. You can't. Our people don't believe. They don't even consider nothing that they God even tell them. No matter what they see, people view me as a religious person. I am not religious. This is strictly about our history. Our people don't even want to even consider their history. Nowhere. They don't want to have nothing to do with none of that. So you know what that means? That means they love the so-called white man. They love the ways of America. People don't do their research, bro. And then they want to say, you angry, you're not in the spirit of God. Psalms chapter 7, God got angry with people, bro. He did. You're gonna have to show that to people because they're not going to accept what you say. So you know what? I'm gonna have to take time, even though I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna have to take time to do it for the sake of argument because people saying I'm making things up. It's right here in Deuteronomy. Psalms chapter 7 and verse 11. God judges the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. You'll find that in Psalms 12 and 11. So God even got angry. You remember when Moses was about to, the Most High told him is to go down. The people made a golden calf, and God was ready to kill. The Most High God was ready to kill them. He was ready to kill them. But Moses encouraged God is not to get rid of not to wipe them out because the Most High said, "This is a stiff-necked people, and I'm tired of dealing with these people. I'm working too hard. I'm trying to, I've been feeding them all my life. I've been walking them through the wilderness, and I led them through the wilderness for 40 years. And these people is still hard-headed. They hard-headed. They won't do nothing I tell them to do. Now, if they didn't listen to God, what make me think they gonna listen to me? They not, because they gonna see me as a cult. Everybody look at me as a cult. How am I? How is it that I am a cult when I'm actually telling you or showing you the meaning of what words are? I'm not even allowed. I'm not even allowed to even show people uh the meaning of just the meaning of a word. And our people think this makes plumb sense. They think it makes perfect sense. It's to sit up and listen to a man tell them a lie. I know I know a certain select people, a certain select group right now to this day. This lady been lying to this lady for over 20 some years about saying you wouldn't even believe. Could you if I told you this and y'all would even be able to believe of what I'm saying. Now remember, I'm not doing this to put people down. I'm talking about how to deceive and how people are quick to believe in deception rather than believing in what's right or looking up things or just doing research for themselves. Don't come here with no you got to use common sense. Get out of here with that. Do your own research. You see what I'm saying? Told this lady that she was gonna get, oh, you gonna God gonna bless you with that check within a matter of it's gonna be within the time now. And guess how long that's been? That's been over 20 years. And the person is still following up behind this person that's lying to them. This is the mindset of our people. This is the mindset of the so-called white man's uh philosophy that he done destroyed our people with. Our people are mentally destroyed. We are mentally destroyed. That's right. And if you want to know where that's at, go in Deuteronomy 28 and read the whole chapter. Go in Deuteronomy 28 and just read the whole chapter. You'll see what I'm talking about. If you don't believe what I'm saying. And not only that, Google up some history and learn about the slave trade. I'm a cult for telling you that. I'm a cult for telling you that. I'm a cult. You calling me a cult in a what you gonna call me? A killer group? I'm not a killer. If I don't know something, I look the word up. What? Deuteronomy. What does that mean? Our people is so messed up it's so destroyed in the mind. The so-called white man got done destroyed our people. And our people don't even have sense enough to see it. What does the word Deuteronomy mean?
According to dictionary.com, a mistranslation of Hebrew XVII 18. The book is a repetition with comments of the Decalogue and most of the laws of Exodus. The title was translated literally into Old English as after it, after law.
Okay, I want to try to prove to y'all, where do I get Hebrew from in the Bible? Let's go to it. Deuteronomy 15. And verse 12. Deuteronomy 15 and verse 12. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, Then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free from thee. Okay, now let me read that again. Hebrews chapter 15, verse 12. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, that's it. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free. Let him go free from thee. Okay, let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. I think I'm saying Leviticus 19 verses. It says in Deuteronomy 19 verse 11, ye shall not steal nor deal. Okay, let me go. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shall thou profane the name of God. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him the wages of him. See that? That was repeated Hebrews, Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy God. I am the Lord. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. He said, thy neighbor. And who did we just read about? Who was our neighbor? It says in Deuteronomy 15 and verse 12, it says, if thy brother be an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, thou shalt let him go out free. In the seventh year, let him go out free. So my point is I'm making behind that. He said he was talking about the Hebrew brothers. Now let me look at verses. Let's look at verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer amongst thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. You know who your neighbor is? The Hebrew brother, or Hebrew man, or Hebrew woman. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Okay, let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. Think about, I want you to keep in mind what I just read here. And I'm going to go over in Deuteronomy and I'm going to read resemble to the same thing. And I want you to tell me if there's some remembrance popping up in your head. I want you, okay, Deuteronomy 15 and verse 12. Look what it said. Let me see if I can read verse 11 and go down to verse 12. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Wherefore I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother. See that? Thy brother, and to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free from thee. See that? Now who did it say? Exodus chapter 15, Deuteronomy chapter 15. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years. Then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. Did y'all catch that? Or do I need to read this again? Because I think a lot of people miss that part. Now let me go up, let me skip and let me go back in Leviticus chapter 19 and verses let's see here. Let's read verse 16 of Leviticus 19. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer amongst thy people. That means don't go up spreading lies amongst your own people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Your neighbor is thy Hebrew brother and a Hebrew man and a Hebrew woman. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. See that? Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love the same way that you would treat yourself. That's the same way. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. That means the same way you want to be treated, the same way you want somebody when they make a couple of, when they have a little change and buy something and you want to buy something for yourself, you're supposed to be equally treat your neighbor the same way. Now, who is your neighbor? Let's look again. Deuteronomy. I don't know why I keep saying Hebrews, but Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. We're going to see who our neighbor is. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go out free. Go free from thee. Thou shalt let him go free from thee. Exodus chapter 21 verse 2. Let's go there. We're going to see if it's going to say the same thing there. And then we're going to go to the New Testament. Exodus chapter 1 and verses 2. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve thee, and in the seventh he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. That's talking about a Hebrew man or Hebrew woman. If his master have given him a wife, and she bore him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, and I will not go out free, then okay, this was a vow that the Hebrew Israelites did when they had to keep laws and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? It was like they was making vows and stuff. This was a Hebrew man, Hebrew woman. All right, let's go to Matthew's chapter 5. I should say Matthew's chapter 5. Let's go there. Okay, let's go to this is called, all right. Now let's look at Matthew's chapter 5. Matthew's chapter 5 and verses 21. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill. Whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause, shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakat, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thy fool, shall be in danger of hell's fire. Okay, now look, go back up. It said, but I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause. Now let's go back to that it's gonna tell you who your brother is. I want y'all to listen to this real good. I don't want y'all before y'all go off and try to say y'all don't believe that I'm a cult, and all these different things. I'm a cult. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm following behind Hebrew Israelites and all that kind of stuff. Since y'all want to say these things, you see what I'm saying? Like saying, you following behind Hebrew Israelite. We're gonna see if I'm making this up or if I'm following a cult. We're gonna see that. Matthew 5 and verse 22, it said, "But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause." You see what I'm saying? His brother. It didn't say whosoever is angry with his enemy without a cause. Notice it didn't say that. I want y'all to catch this here. I really want y'all to catch this here. And this is how you study the Bible. A lot of people don't study their Bibles the correct way. Christianity teaches us our brother is anybody. It doesn't matter who they are. No, your brother is indeed, I'm gonna tell you who your brother is. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment, and whosoever shall say to his brother Rachel shall be in danger of the council. Okay, let's go. It's saying whosoever shall say unto his brother. It didn't say whosoever is angry with his enemy. Hello. Do I need to repeat that again? The reason why I'm rereading this here is because when you read in scriptures to people, to people, to your people that hates the truth, they really don't want to hear nothing about what their God is telling them. And that's the reason why I'm reading it over, because it seems like a lot of people, when it comes to hearing with their ears, they don't want to listen to what it's saying. But look what it said. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of the judgment. Now let's go back and let's see who he's talking about when he says his brother. Let's go to now. Remember, I read this in the New Testament. This is Matthew 5 verses 22. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. Let's go there. See, this is too much like right for people to do. They ain't gonna do this though. They ain't gonna take time and do this. Not what I'm doing. It's too much like right. Listen to this here. He said, now remember, in the New Testament, in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 22, it said, whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. All right, let's look in the Old Testament where people say, oh, you in the New Testament, his brother. It's going to interpret who the brother is. Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. What did I say? Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. Now, what I'm going to try to do, I'm gonna at the end of the video, I'm gonna put the link to all of the scriptures in here. I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna put all of the scriptures, the text, the context, and everything in here with based upon what I'm trying to bring out. All right, let's go. Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And we read the same thing in Exodus. Let's read it again. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12. And if thy brother and Hebrew man, what did I say? In Hebrew, Hebrew. Let me say it again. Hebrew. Okay. Or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee. Now, let me read it again. And I'm reiterating this because I want people to understand where I'm coming from. Because a lot of our people is so stiff-necked, you got to actually read it over, and you got to read it over and over and over and over and over and over. And you got to make sure that you are showing it to them out the Bible. You do. Even then, they still gonna buck against it and say you're wrong for what you're saying. Okay, what is so hard about this script? Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go out free. Go free from thee. Thou shalt let him go free from thee. Okay, Exodus. Let's go there. Exodus chapter 21, verse 2. And if thou buy an a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve thee, and in the seventh he shall go out free. He shall go out free for nothing. Let's read it again. Exodus 21, verse 2. If thou buy an Hebrew servant 6 years, and he shall serve thee, and in the seventh year he shall go out free for nothing. Okay. Now let's go to Exodus. Let me go to Exodus one more time. Not Exodus, but Deuteronomy chapter 15. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12. And if thy brother an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go out free. Thou shalt let him go free from thee. If an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free from thee. That's Deuteronomy chapter 15, Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. Now let's go to the New Testament, back to the New Testament, Matthew chapter 5 and verse 22. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. See what I'm saying? It said, whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the council of judgment, and whosoever will say a fool. Now, when it say a fool, it's saying don't call them a fool for nothing if they didn't give you a reason to. Now, if you call them a fool, you're not saying that they are actual fool. You're actually saying that they're acting like a fool. When you don't want to listen to the commandments of your God, tell you what you should be doing and what you should and should not be doing, and you rebel and you don't want to follow this Bible, that means that you are acting like it's literally the Bible is judging you. And they want to say, oh, you judging me. No, the Bible, we are correcting you according to the Bible. If you are doing something wrong and you're not doing something right, we have a right is to say, hey, based upon this, you going wrong. You may call me a liar, but I'm not calling you a liar. The Bible is calling you a liar. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Now, let's look at ye have heard that. Now let's look at Matthew chapter 5 and verse 43. Ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. Now notice it's saying thy enemy. Remember when the Bible says, thou shalt not bear or hold any grudge against the children of thy people? And we know that thy people is the Hebrew Israelites. Well, we just proved that in Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12, where it says, if an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee. You see what I'm saying? Now, before I go and read that other text, we got to make sure we stay in context with all this stuff, bro. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Of thy people, right? Thy people. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or Hebrew woman be sold unto thee and be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go out free from thee. Thou shalt let him go out free from thee. So it said, thou shalt not bear any grudge against the children of thy people, of thy people. You see what I'm saying? So the Hebrew Israelites are thy people. It means that the Hebrew man and Hebrew woman, which is a servant of God, You see what I'm saying? The Hebrew man and the Hebrew woman is the children are thy people that God is talking about. You see what I'm saying? That's why he said, "Thou shalt not bear any grudge. Thou shalt not bear any grudge against the children of thy people, right? Thy people, who are your brother, the Israelites. He's not talking about the other nation. That's what I was trying to tell you. It didn't say thou shalt not bear any grudge against the children of all people. It didn't say of the other different nations. Thou shalt not bear any grudge against the children of the people of your brothers of other different nationalities. And no, it didn't say that. It said, thou shalt not bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Now let's go back to the New Testament, Matthew chapter 5, verse 43. Ye have heard that it had been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to shine on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. So this is all talking about your the the children of he said that ye may be the children of your Father. The children of your Father. Who are the children of our fathers? The children of our fathers is here. Let's go to because you remember he said that ye may be the children of your Father. Now we're gonna see who the children are. Let's use this verse to interpret it. That's that's Exodus chapter 2 and verse 25. And God looked upon the children. See that? And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Let's go back over here to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 45, that ye may be the children of your Father, which is in heaven. For he maketh the sun to shine on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even so the publicans the same. And if ye salute your brother only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? The publicans are the sinners, the Israelite. The publicans are the children of the publicans are the children of the children of Israel, sinners. And if ye salute your brother only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So when it talks about, it says, let's look at, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Verse 45, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. See that? For he maketh his that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. Let's go back over here and look at this here. And God looked upon the children of Israel. Remember what I read in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 45. Matthew chapter 5, verses 45. It says that you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. And right here in Exodus chapter 2 and verse 25, it says, and God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. He had respect unto them. Now let's go to Exodus chapter 2 and verse 11. Since this verse this context caught my eye, I'm gonna go ahead and read it. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spotted an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew one of his brethren. See that? One of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, two men of the Hebrews scrolled together and said to him that did thee wrong. Therefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest that thou kill me as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now, when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Okay, let's go back over here. And Exodus chapter 2 and verse 11. Exodus chapter 2 and verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren. See that? He went out unto his brethren and looked up on their burdens, and he spotted an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. When Moses went out and he saw one of the Egyptians was messing with a Hebrew Israelite. Moses took and killed this Egyptian. Moses killed this Egyptian. Yes, he did, because he was messing with the Hebrew Israelites. And look what God said. I'm going to show you how God feels about the Hebrew Israelites. Now listen to this here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to jump down my throat for that. That's all right. They can call me what they want to call me, but I'm going to show you in the Bible. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 45. That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and he sends his rain on the just and the unjust. Do you know who the just and the unjust was? Do y'all want to know who the unjust was? Do y'all want me to show y'all the unjust of who God was talking about when he said he allows his rain to shine on the evil and shine on the good, and he allows his rain to shine on the just and the unjust? So let's look at it. Let's go there. Yeah, let's look at it. He allows his rain to shine on the. Let's go to Hosea. I'm going to show you who the unjust he's talking about. Everybody want to know who the unjust is, right? Daniel. Hosea. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. Okay, I'll tell you what, before I read Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6, where he said he allowed his rain to shine on the evil and on the good, he allows his rain to shine on the just and the unjust. Let's look and see who the unjust people are during this time. Hosea 4 and verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. Who was he talking to? He was only dealing with Israel. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitation of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touching blood. That means they killing the Israelites is brainwashed and conditioned into killing each other because when they started joining themselves unto these other, like the Europeans, the ways and the customs of America, doing what the quote unquote white man does and all that, then this is what started to happen. They started to start killing and hurting each other, in that way. Okay, let me read verse 3. Therefore shall the land mourn. That means they crying out. The land is in a turmoil. That means the black families is broken up. The black families, the black Israelites, the so-called white men, we're serving the so-called white man. We're just being torn to pieces on every side. You see what I'm saying? We're just being torn to pieces. The land is crying out. That means that our children is dying in the streets. Our little one, we are brainwashed and conditioned is to be working and slaving for the so-called white man. We are in debates with our own people because our people is destroyed in the mind because they want to satisfy everybody else rather than their own people. This is the so-called white man and all these other nations, the real reason why we don't love our own people. We hate our own people with a passion. Okay, let's go on. Therefore shall the land mourn. That's what it means. The Israelites is in mourning. That means that the so-called white man is killing the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and we, in essence, is brainwashed and conditioned into pleasing the white man, and we want to please Mr. Child, and we're killing each other. Like you have black police officers beating black women and beating black men in the streets because they want to, like Ice Cube say, the black police showing out for the white cop. Y'all remember that song that Ice Cube made where he said the black police showing out for the white cop? This is what is going on. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish. That means language means no leaders. Everyone there is language. That has to do with not having leaders. The language with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man scribe nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that scribe with the priests. Therefore shall they fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee. Now, remember when I said the prophet shall also fall with thee. That means they have no priest. There's no preachers. There's no leader in our congregation because we're so messed up with these Europeans. They stole our God. They stole our language. And because they did all of these things to us, we are now serving our enemies. Because of all these things, we are serving our enemies. Okay, therefore shall thou fall in the day, and the prophets also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. That means he will kill the root of the he gonna kill our children. He gonna kill us because we're not doing what he said do. I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the Lord thy God. I will also forget thy children. Now let's go back and let's read Matthew chapter 5 and verse 45. That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. Now let's see, what was he saying? But I say unto you, love your enemies. He didn't say love, he said your enemy. That's just like me. If I'm saying love your children that came out your womb, love your children. If I say your children, if I say, look, man, love your children. Am I talking about everybody's children? No. I'm only talking about those children in the room. Love your children. Anybody know common sense? If I say your children, then they say, now what if I say love every child from every different nationality? Love every child from every different nationality. Not just yours, but every child from every different nationality. That means I'm talking universal if I say that. But I'm not, this is not universal. This text is not speaking of universal. It's only speaking of a possession. It's only talking, saying it in a way as a possession. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them. Does it sound like it's saying all? If it's saying them, it's a certain portion of numbers, right? It's not saying love. What I mean, God ain't saying what I mean by that is love every different nationality. He didn't say that. He said, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. Now, the children of your, now what children are the Most High talking about? Stop right there and let's define the children that he's talking about. Let's look at this here. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. You see what I'm saying? I will also forget your children. Who is he talking to? He said, I will also forget thy children. Let's go back up to verse 4, and we're going to read who it was talking about. Who he's speaking to. Hear the words of the Lord, ye children of Israel. See that? Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. Children of Israel. Now go back to Matthew chapter 5 and read verse 45. Look what it said, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. So who are the children? That there you got it, the children of Israel. Now let's go and let's look at let's look at this one. I feel like we kind of establishing something just a little bit. Let's look at Romans. Romans chapter 2. Let's look at this here. But glory and honor, this is coming from Romans chapter 2 and verse 10. But glory, honor, and peace to every man. Every man. Now, if we're gonna take time one day and we're gonna look that up where it talks about every man. Okay, I want to read something. Let me get this out the way, then I'm gonna finish reading. But glory and honor and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. We're gonna break down that these Gentiles, which is Israelites, when Paul's speaking of these Gentiles, he's speaking of a Gentile, he's speaking of Israelites with a Gentile mindset. For there is no respectable person with God. For there is no respectable person with God. Now they talking, when people will take this out of context to say that it means universal, it means the Arab man, the Chinese man. No. Let's read that again. For there is no respectable person with God. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12. No, Exodus chapter, whoops, I went over too far, people. Okay, here we go. Exodus chapter 2 and verse 25. Now remember what I read in Romans chapter 2 and verse 10. Glory, honor, and peace to everyone, every man that worketh good, to the Jews first, and also to the Gentile. But there is no respectable person with God. No respectable person. Now let's look at the interpretation, and we're going to see who those children are. Where it's talking about there is no respectable person with God, because a lot of people would take that to mean that it's talking about every different nationality. Differences means people that are not the same. Okay, let's see who that respectable person God is talking about. Exodus chapter 2 and verse 25. And God looked up on the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. God had respect unto them. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 45. Let's look at Matthew chapter 5 and verse 45. That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. So he said, the children of your Father, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. Okay, now let's look at they said, remember, it said he makes his sunshine to shine on the just and on the unjust, and he allows his rain to shine on the evil and the good, and he allows rain to shine on the just and the unjust. The Israelites, were they unjust in a lot of the things they were doing? They was unjust toward God, right? When God told them it's not to go and serve other gods and join themselves to the other nations around them, guess what they did? They did exactly that. And that's why he said what he said. He said that they became. Okay, let's read it again. That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he makes his sun to shine on the evil and on the good. That means the Israelites was doing evil. Now notice it said, for that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he makes his sun to shine on the evil and on the good, and sends his rain on the just and on the unjust. Now let's look at the evil. Let's look at and let's see exactly who God is talking about, because I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you who the evil was. He allowed his rain to shine on the good and on the evil, and he allowed his rain to shine on the just as well as the unjust. Let's go to Judges chapter 4. I think it's in Judges chapter 3 and Judges chapter 4. Let's go there. Stay with me, people. Let's look at, let's see here. Let's look at Judges chapter 4 and verse 1. And the children of Israel again did evil. See that? Did evil in the sight of the Lord. With Ehud was dead, and the Lord sold them unto the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, and the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Hazra of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mighty oppressed the children of Israel. See that? See the other nation. Now, who is the Gentile? A non-Jew. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead. When Ehud was dead, I got to look up who is Ehud. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I got to look up who Ehud was. According to the book of Judges, chapter 4, who is Ehud? Girl power, Deborah the prophecy, meet Joel, Jael, the head smasher. Luckily from them, God raised up an awesome judge, Deborah, a prophecy, and the only female judge in the book. Deborah tells Barak, Israelite general, that God commanded him to take 10,000 soldiers from the tribes I'm pretty sure Manasseh. But my point I was making is that God kept on delivering the children of Israel And I forgot to tell y'all, my bad. The Canaanites are the African tribe. That's another African tribe. Now in Judges chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Only that the generation of the children of Israel might know to teach them war at the least, such as before. No, it's nothing. There are namely 5 lords of the Philistine. That's another African tribe, y'all. Okay, now let's go to, I'm not going to have time to just read the whole thing. Now let's look right here in Judges chapter 6 and verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them unto the hand of Midian 7 years. So they did evil in the sight of the Lord, and God delivered them unto the hand of their enemy for 7 years. Now let's look at verse 2. And the hand of the Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains and in caves. The children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds. And so it was when Israel had sown that the Midianites came up, and the Amaleks are the fake Jews who are in Jerusalem right now. And the children of the east, even they came up against them, and they encamped against them and the destroyed the increase of the earth until thou came unto Gaza, and left on the sinners for Israel neither sheep nor ox nor ass. Okay, and let's skip to verse 6. Judges chapter 6 and verse 6. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord because of the Midianites, that the Lord sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus said the Lord God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. What is bondage? The house of bondage is the original Greek word. It means slave, slavery. Bondage is that's the Greek word. The Greek word for bondage means slavery. I have brought you out of slavery, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drove them out from before you, and gave you their land. He said, now look, I gave you their land, but the minute you cried, you was in jail, and all the while you was in jail, you cried out to me. Oh God, I promise you I'm gonna do this here. Oh, I promise you I'm gonna do this here. Oh, I promise you I'm gonna do that. As soon as you get out, you go to blaspheming the Most High all over again. Now let's look at let's see here, Judges chapter 2 and verse 1. And the angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bochim, and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt, and have brought you unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and ye shall make no legions with the inhabitation of this land. Ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have ye done this? And he said, therefore, I said also, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and and their gods shall be a snare unto you. And it shall come to pass, when the angel of the Lord spake these words unto all of the children of Israel. Now let it word go, children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. Okay, let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 45. that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to shine on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. So was it, now let me ask you this here. God, the Most High gave Israel a chance, right? Now, was Israel doing evil in God's eyes? They was doing evil. So when he said God sent us his rain, he sent us that ye may be the children of the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and send his rain on the unjust. I mean, he sent his rain on the just. He sent rain on the just and on the unjust. You see what I'm saying? That means there were some Israelites that were righteous, but the vast majority of them, they was wicked. Israel was wicked. For ye have For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do even so the publicans the same. So when he talked about the publicans, he's talking about the Israelites who was living like publican. They was living like the heathens. They was living like the other nation. He was not talking about loving your enemy, talking about the outside nations of Israel. He was only talking about loving the enemy of your people. That's why he says, thou shalt not bear any grudge against the children of thy people. And we established that thy people in Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. He said, if thy brother in Hebrew man or in Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, then he shall serve thee 6 years. And in the 7th year, he shall go out free. You remember that? And then in Exodus chapter 21 and verse 2, it said the same thing. If thy Hebrew be sold unto thee and he served thee 6 years, then he should go out free by himself with his wife and his children. I believe that's what it was. That's what it was talking about. So if God loves everybody, you remember when Israel was fighting for their land, right? Okay, let's read this right here in Judges chapter 1 and verse 1. Now, after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first to fight against them? And the Lord said unto Judah, and the Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land unto his hand. And Judah said unto him, unto Simeon, his brother, come up with me unto my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites. And I likewise, I will go with thee unto thy lot. So Simeon went with him. And Judah went up, and the Lord delivered the Canaanites and the Perizzites unto their hand, and they slew of them Bazak. They slew of them Bazak 10,000 men. They slew of them. So Judah, the Israelites asked the Lord, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites? You see what I'm saying? So far, I just established in so many different places that God is going to destroy the Canaanites. And Judah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now, and the name of Hebron before was Kedjet Rem, and slew Shishai, and Ahiah, I don't even know how to say that, Ahiah man, and Timai. And from hence he went against the inhabitation of Deborah, and the name of Deborah before was Kedjet Sefer. These are some hard words here. And Caleb said, he that smites Kedjet Sefer, your battery is running low. Okay, let me go ahead and stop this thing then. All right. I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace and love to my people of color, and I'll be back. And hopefully you all understood that. And I'm gonna put the scripture context, everything that I was quoting in the description box. I'm out.